For 7 years, Emily and I had kept our marriage a secret from the world. This was all because her family, the Millers, didn't want it to be known that their daughter was married to someone in the entertainment business. Then, one day, Emily surprised me by saying she wanted to bring our son, Tom, to my show. I felt a surge of happiness and excitement at the thought, but my excitement quickly faded as I watched her and Tom become special guests on a segment featuring Daniel, a popular new star. The entire internet seemed ready to watch me be embarrassed. The host, playing along, asked me where my wife and kid were. With Emily watching me intently from the side, I forced a smile and said, "My wife just left, and as for a kid, I'll just pretend I don't have one." The moment Emily showed up with Tom, the number of people watching the live stream went through the roof. People were typing comments like, "Did I see that right? Business expert Emily on a variety show?" I heard she came for someone important. It must be for her mysterious, rumored husband. Even the Miller family's little one made an appearance. I felt a small sense of relief, thinking maybe she had finally decided to support my work. Earlier that morning, as she was getting ready to leave, fastening her cufflinks, she had said casually, "Alex, I'll be on your show tonight." I really thought she was coming for me, especially since she brought our son. So, when they arrived, I reached out my hand to greet Tom. But before I knew it, I felt like I had been slapped. I watched as mother and son walked right past me without even a glance, heading to sit in the guest spot with Daniel, the rising star. My hand was left hanging in the air. I barely managed to whisper his name, Tom. Tom looked at me for a moment, then turned his eyes back to his mom. In that brief look, I saw a hint of coldness in him, something a boy his age shouldn't have. Suddenly, a flood of mean comments filled the screen. Alex, the guy who always plays small parts, just shamelessly hinted he's Emily's husband. I bet he's desperate for fame. Finally, we see him get what he deserves. Daniel is the main character here. Who the hell is Alex, anyway? I clenched my hand into a fist and looked over at Emily. Did she even realize what she had done tonight? Her actions were going to make me a laughingstock. Just as the host was about to talk to me again, there was a technical problem that paused the live stream for a bit. Emily moved to a corner to take a work call. I followed her and asked, "You agreed to come to the show, but you're sitting with Daniel instead." When she finished her call, Emily, with one hand casually in her pocket, said without much feeling, "Alex, I just said I'd be on the show, not that I'd be your guest. Daniel's brother promised me a piece of land if I helped draw a bigger crowd. You know I'm a businesswoman, I go after profits." "Alex, you misunderstood." She explained it away, as if I were being unreasonable. At that moment, frustration boiled up inside me. Didn't you think about how showing up as someone else's guest would make me look? Didn't you see the insults people were writing? Emily's face stayed calm, as if she didn't understand why I was so upset. "Alex, if you want to be in show business, you need to be tough. Why care so much about what other people say?" I felt a deep sense of helplessness wash over me. In the 7 years we had been married, there had always been this barrier between us that we couldn't break down. I turned to leave, but Emily grabbed my wrist. "Alex, let's go home after this." When she called me Alex during our arguments, it was the closest she came to giving in. But I didn't need it anymore. I shook her hand off and walked back into the studio. The live stream started again, and the host, sounding a little curious, asked, "Alex, where's your wife and kid? Did they come?" Emily looked up, watching me quietly. Under her gaze, I smiled. "I'm sorry, they can't make it. My wife just left. As for a kid, let's just say I don't have one." Emily pressed her lips together, her eyes looking dark. The comments kept coming in. "He lost it. Couldn't lie, so now he's having a fit. This is hilarious, he didn't even have a wife. Come on." Today, I wasn't going to let these online commenters have the last word. Earlier, I had asked a trustworthy nanny to take a photo of something in my room. Now I had that photo put up on the big screen. The comment stopped for a few seconds, then exploded. Am I seeing things? Is that Alex and Emily's marriage certificate? What is Emily doing? Not sitting in her own husband's guest spot and sitting in another? Guys, what's wrong with Daniel inviting someone else's wife and kid as guests? Everyone else in the studio looked shocked or angry. Strangely, I felt a sense of relief and kept talking. I'm getting ready for a divorce, so in my heart, my wife is already gone. I don't plan to fight for custody of the child, and I know I wouldn't win anyway. I also don't plan to keep recording this show. After all, with the divorce, I should get some money, which will cover the fee for breaking my contract with the production team. After living over 20 years doing what everyone else expected right now, I just want to do things my way. I had barely reached the parking lot before my mom called. She started yelling at me right away. Are you crazy, saying you're divorcing on a live stream? If you get divorced, how will your dad's business keep going? We've been depending on the Millers for support all these years, don't you know that? Apologize. Go apologize to Emily and ask her to forgive you. I cut her off. Today, it was Emily who embarrassed me first. Why do you care who she supports? Which young actor she's backing? Your dad's project needs money. Your brother's gaming company just started and needs Emily's help. I couldn't take it anymore, and hung up, turning off my phone. A deep tiredness settled over me. My marriage to my family was just a way to get something from the Millers. Turning around, I saw Emily leaning against my car. She looked a little out of place. Where's Tom? I asked. I had the driver take him home first, she replied. I stopped the show. There won't be any gossip tomorrow either. Stopping the show and preventing gossip was no surprise. She had the power to do all this. Emily always handled things quickly and firmly, with a natural confidence. She even seemed to think that divorce was just something I was saying out of anger, and that with a little talking, I would change my mind. She gave a soft, mocking laugh. Today, with that scene, the internet will have a field day with me. I chuckled back, using her own words from earlier. Emily, you need to be tough. Why care about what people say? Emily froze for a second, then held my hand to stop me from opening the car door. Are you mad because of Daniel? I was only in it for that land. I laughed. Emily, do you really believe that? When would you ever be short of land? I looked at her closely. Is it because Daniel looks like him? That photo in the secret part of your bookshelf in the second cabinet? I saw the understanding flash in her eyes. Not just Daniel, even I look like him. That's why you married me, isn't it? Emily let go of my hand suddenly. Her face turned cold. In the future, don't touch my bookshelves again. Her beautiful appearance seemed to crack, and suddenly, everything became clear. Word by word, I told her plainly, Emily, there won't be any future. I want a divorce. I was born, and then our family business started having problems, and I wasn't exactly the favorite child. My mom is someone who gets things done. Since I was in the 10th grade, she started setting me up on blind dates. I went along with it because it was the only way I could get a chance to work in the entertainment world. Being an actor, a really good actor, was my only dream. At first, this was my best friend Chris's dream, too, but after he was gone, it became mine. Before Emily showed up, I thought I would end up marrying some not-so-good-looking child of a rich man from outside of marriage. But then, a blind date I didn't expect changed everything. Why would a family like the Millers arrange a blind date with us, just ordinary people? My mom was overjoyed, cutting off my dad's doubts. Who cares? Get the big fish while you can. On the day I sat across from Emily, feeling like a puppet from the very first look, I have to admit I was impressed by how she looked and how she carried herself. While I was wondering why someone so striking would need a blind date, hot coffee spilled on the back of my hand. A nervous new waiter was apologizing repeatedly. Emily pulled me over to a faucet, held my hand under cool water, and said, This will stop it from hurting. Maybe it was that small act of kindness that made me think marrying her wouldn't be so bad. Later, when the Millers came to our house to talk about the wedding, my mom was completely over the moon, thinking she had hit the jackpot. And me? I wasn't against it. I mean, Emily was much better looking than any other rich person's child I had met. After we got married, Emily was actually quite good to me. Except for being against my acting, she didn't fail as a wife. In her free time, she would take me to the highest point in G City to watch sunrises. We would drink the best, most real tea. Holding hands, we would walk down every street and alley in G City, just like normal young couples. She told me she went to college in G City and felt a special connection to it. 7 years into our marriage, I found out that she loved G City because there was someone there once, someone she had loved. But like all the sad stories about rich kids' love, Emily had a white moonlight, a pure first love that her family ruined, and he had passed away. That whole matchmaking thing, it was just Emily making her own choice after she took over the family business. When I accidentally found that old photo in the bookshelf, the back said, "To my dearest," and the front showed a boy who looked a lot like me. At that moment, I finally understood. I was just a replacement. All the sunrises we saw, the tea we drank, the streets we walked were memories of her and him, not the love I had imagined we shared. In the quiet of the underground garage, you could hear a pin drop. Emily lit a cigarette. "Divorce? What about Tom?" I gave a soft laugh. "Did you forget? Your mother says I'm not fit to raise a child. He's 6 years old, yet I've barely spent 6 months' worth of time with him over the years." Emily's mother had always controlled Tom's upbringing strictly, training him just as she had trained Emily. "You're the one who didn't want him first," Emily said, looking down on me. It was such a simple sentence, yet it felt like a needle piercing my heart. I had said it countless times. I didn't reject Tom. I had severe depression back then. I just couldn't bring myself to be close to him. I was afraid I might hurt him. But Emily would always ignore my explanations. I once thought she was just cold, focused on her important career, and just didn't notice the small things. Then I realized that without love, nothing else really mattered. Over the years, I remembered everyone else's birthdays, but no one ever remembered mine, except Chris. Sadly, Chris is no longer in this world. Emily sighed. "Calm down for a month. Cool off." I cut her off. "No need, my head is perfectly clear." Even now she thought I was just having a tantrum. As I packed my things and left the Miller house, I decided to pick Tom up from school. But even though he saw me, he didn't come over right away. Later, in the car, he frowned a little. "Dad, don't pick me up again, okay? It's embarrassing if my classmates see." "Why?" I tightened my grip on the steering wheel. "Who said Dad is a second-rate actor?" In the rearview mirror, he looked down. "Grandma and Nana have said so. Mom doesn't like it either." We drove in silence. Back at the parking lot, I asked, "What do you think?" Tom's reply was adult-like and cold. "Dad, change jobs. You're selfish. You never think about our feelings." I closed my eyes. "Tom, have any of you ever cared about my feelings? You won't be embarrassed anymore. I won't be picking you up ever again." It was the first time I had ever spoken to him so coldly. He stood frozen after getting out, looking confused. Without looking back, I drove out of the Miller place. In the rearview mirror, Tom and Emily on the balcony got smaller and smaller until they disappeared. I glanced at the divorce papers on the passenger seat. Inside, I knew the sky was wide and the ocean was deep for me now. Emily never thought Alex would actually file for divorce, let alone announce it in such a dramatic way on a live stream, saying she was gone to him. It almost made her laugh with anger. In her memory, Alex was mild-mannered, not someone with strong opinions. Except for that annoying obsession with acting, he fit the requirements for a husband back then. She married him because, besides having a face that looked familiar, he seemed easygoing and less likely to cause problems. She was very aware of her controlling mother at home, and didn't want small family issues getting in the way of her business plans. After getting married, her choice seemed right. He was gentle, never argued with her mother, and even his acting jobs stayed local. No matter how late he worked, he would come home every morning. She would catch a light citrus smell from his shower gel. She would turn and bury her face in his neck. "Really, into oranges?" she'd ask. He'd nod, smiling. "I love it. So did my good friend Chris." She didn't know Chris, but heard his name often, yet she never paid much attention. Maybe she was busy or mentally planning new business ideas and profits for the company. His words didn't seem to matter, did they? Sometime later, he started talking less and eventually stopped altogether. Communication between them faded away. On the third day after the divorce, even the usually calm Emily looked at the orange-scented body wash in the bathroom, feeling strangely annoyed. "Why are his things still here?" she asked. The maid bowed her head in apology, quickly cleaning up any sign of Alex. But that night, Emily, who usually slept well, found herself staring sleeplessly at the new blue sheets. The unfamiliar smell in the air made her uncomfortable. By morning, she had dark circles under her eyes. Lost in thought for a moment, she called the maid back and asked for her husband's belongings to be returned. The maid was shocked. They had already been thrown out, and there was no way to get them back. Emily felt a lump in her throat. Maybe things work out for the best, after all. Divorce counts as a happy occasion, doesn't it? I got an offer for a part in a well-made show. The assistant director explained in detail that if I got the part, we'd be filming constantly in 3 different places, some in remote areas with difficult conditions. But if it turned out well, it could win awards. The possibility of winning an award made me forget everything else. "No problem, I'm in," I said. Nothing was stopping me from chasing my dreams now. I had spent over 20 years being the son my parents wanted. Marriage was my trade for their business and money. I didn't owe them anything now. I had been the Miller family's son-in-law for 7 years, followed their rules, and was completely devoted, only to find out I was a replacement in an unfair marriage. Marriage became chains, but I was free now. This role required 4 months of intense, isolated training. There were 108 of us competing, all entering a training camp. It was both an opportunity and a challenge. At dawn, I would get up to train. Then it was endless horseback riding, martial arts, proper manners, and dance training, with horseback riding being a major focus. I went from being afraid to get on a horse to riding with one hand while shooting arrows. I endured raw thighs and countless falls on my elbows. Some people would joke, "Hey, aren't you the Miller family's son-in-law? Why is a rich guy working so hard?" I didn't hide it. "I'm divorced. I'm not anyone's son-in-law. My name is Alex." Others would whisper behind my back that a son-in-law from a family like that was spoiled, saying I wouldn't make it past the first group cut. Before, I would ignore it, just put up with it. But I wouldn't anymore. It's healthier to let it out than to keep it bottled up, right? I confronted them. "How can you guarantee that with your big mouth?" Before she could argue, I turned, jumped back on the horse, and galloped away. In that moment, it felt like I was stepping on all those doubts underfoot. Time for the final test was running out. I made every second count, living as if 24 hours were 48. I was exhausted but felt good because I was doing what I loved. On the test day, the sun was incredibly hot. Riding fast, focused completely on the target, I hit the center perfectly. Once could be luck, but hitting the bullseye 3 times was proof of my hard work. Knowing my total score was the highest, the bloodstains on my palms felt like a mark of my success. "That's Alex. Impressive," they said. He's perfect for the general role in this show. Alex's performance was better than everyone else's. Despite the difficult training, I never once cried, but at that moment, tears came because I finally had my own identity, my own name, back. Turning around, I saw two familiar faces I hadn't seen in 4 months. Emily and Tom stood outside the training area under the blazing sun. Tom's eyes were bright. "Dad, you looked cool riding and shooting," he said. It was the first compliment I had heard from him. In his daily life, I was always trying to be involved, but still felt like an outsider. I remembered when his kindergarten had a project to make lanterns. I stayed up all night to make him a rabbit lantern, even though I wasn't very good at crafts. 6-year-old Tom looked at it and pouted. "Not as good as the one Grandma's teacher made. Dad, you can't do anything right." That rabbit lantern ended up in the trash. Emily's mother watched from the stairs, her lips curved in a distant smile. "Don't blame Tom. They'd laugh at him for bringing your work to school." How could something made with care be made fun of? Even if it's not perfect, it comes from the heart. But maybe the Miller family's house isn't a place for love, after all. Mike, whom Emily loved so much, couldn't even marry her. If it weren't for the fear that Emily would cut herself off from life after Mike's death, I doubt her mother would have let someone like me, whom she thought little of, join the Miller family. With these thoughts, I gave Tom a small smile. I know I'm cool. What about it? Despite having inherited the Miller family's reserved nature, he was still a 6-year-old boy and couldn't hide his feelings. "Grandma was wrong," he said softly. "Dad's job isn't just about wearing nice clothes and looking sad." Emily's eyes looked a little dim. "Tom," she said gently. I smiled and added, "Grandma is either mean or jealous of how young and handsome I am." Tom paused, then said softly, "Dad, my birthday is next month. Will you come home?" "No," I replied. "Actors don't deserve to attend your birthday, little buddy." Tom's eyes turned red, ready to argue. Emily interrupted him. "Go wait in the car. I need to talk to your dad." Tom respected Emily too much to refuse. He walked reluctantly towards the car, looking back at me repeatedly. Looking up, I met Emily's eyes. She was staring intensely, with a slight smile. "Alex, why does it seem like you've changed since the divorce?" Raising an eyebrow, I replied, "Does that matter to you? If you have something to say, say it. I'm busy and not going to waste time chatting." It was a line she had once used on me. "Cat got your tongue." I turned to leave, but she held my arm tightly. "Alex, happy birthday." Divorced, yet she remembered my birthday. I pulled her fingers off one by one. 7 years, a late wish. Who would be happy with that? I walked past her into the training camp, leaving Emily looking unexpectedly lonely. Quickly, I got back to the intense filming with the crew. Sometimes a scene needed 10 to 20 takes because of my acting partners or the script, but no matter how tiring, it was never as exhausting as seeing Emily repeatedly. Her car was always parked a distance from my way back to my living quarters. She never came without bringing something, either flowers or fancy treats from Michelin star chefs. Things she never did before, things she would never do. She was proud, reserved, and never showed off our relationship before. Now she seemed not ashamed of it at all. At first, actors on set looked at me with envy. "Alex, is your ex-wife really Emily? Wow, she's really pretty. Is she here to try and get back together? Will you two reconcile? She's beautiful." I told them in a casual way. She was carrying the memory of a lost love in her heart, and for 7 years, I was just the replacement. She didn't fall for me during those 7 years of marriage, so there's no reason she'd suddenly like me after a divorce, right? Do you really think I should jump back into the same problem, become the Miller family's son-in-law again, with no freedom and no emotional value? My only use was a business connection for my parents. They all waved their hands and said, "No thanks." After that, they no longer looked at Emily with admiration. Sometimes they would whisper to me, "That woman is back again." Emily got out of the car, looking a little tired. She had been having a hard time sleeping on her latest business trip overseas. "Alex, where did you buy that body wash you used? I think that orange scent might help me sleep." I gave a small smile. "I mix it myself. You can't buy it anywhere." She paused for a moment. "Well, could you—" "No, I can't," I replied. Nor did I want to do anything for her anymore. She didn't get upset. She pulled a watch from her pocket and handed it to me. "You said you liked vintage watches." As she spoke, the watch slipped between our fingers and hit the ground, getting dusty. I hadn't even reached for it. She raised an eyebrow at me. "Don't like it?" "I like it, just not when you give it to me," I answered. Confusion flickered in her eyes. I said it plainly. "Emily, the best kind of ex is the kind that's dead to you." I remembered something she had told me in the past. "Alex, I really don't like it when people say my husband is a third-rate actor. You get me? So, we spent 7 years in a secret marriage. History doesn't repeat itself exactly, but it certainly feels similar." "Emily, I really don't like people always bringing up my ex-wife, Emily. Don't come back, you get me?" And with that, I walked off, leaving her again. Emily suddenly felt a slight pain near her heart, especially when the watch hit the ground. She picked it up to look at it, then tossed it in a perfect arc into a nearby artificial lake. After the ripples settled, everything was calm. It was the first time she had ever done something like this, something she used to think was childish. She thought she was going crazy. Since the day she couldn't beat her insomnia after the divorce, it felt like something deep inside her was waking up, urging her to think about her relationship with Alex again. That night she couldn't sleep again, so she drank until she felt a little tipsy and invited an old friend over to drink with her. Her friend swirled her wine, giving Emily a puzzled look. "Are you realizing after the divorce that you actually love your ex-husband?" Emily's hand paused for a moment. Then she chuckled. "Maybe I'm just not used to it." Her friend laughed. "Compared to the one before, who do you feel more comfortable with?" she said, referring to Mike, the older student from college. Mike was the most popular guy at the university. Handsome, daring, and when he liked someone, he liked them intensely. He did everything he could to win over Emily, and it was the talk of the whole school. Young Emily was naturally drawn to such a charming guy. On the day they officially got together, Mike handed her a photo, seriously insisting she sign it, marking her true love. "Emily, I want to be your most beloved man." She kept that photo for years. Later, her father broke them up. In their family, it was okay to date casually. But serious intentions? Forget it. He hurt her deeply with the coldest words. "Your aunt slept with that boy." That day, she broke up with Mike in the sports car. He bit his lip, tears falling. "I didn't. An event host tricked me into going. Nothing happened. I ran. Believe me." Emily scoffed. "You think my dad would lie to me?" Mike, proud as he was, demanded to get out of the car. During the struggle, a truck rushed toward them. Everything went dark, ending in sadness and regret. Emily's father had indeed lied. He wanted his daughter to marry someone from a wealthy family, not an orphan like Mike. Emily didn't go to her father's funeral years later. Mike became a source of hidden guilt for her, unrelated to love, just guilt. If she had believed him, if she hadn't fainted that day and could have pulled him from the car, maybe he wouldn't have died. After a bottle of alcohol and telling the story from her heart, her friend patted her shoulder. "That's guilt, not love. Think about it. If Alex were there instead, what would you do?" Emily was silent for a long time. She took a big drink, her throat moving. "Then I die with him," she finally said, slightly drunk and speaking badly about herself. It was a rare day off for the crew. The third female lead shyly invited me to a movie. I politely said no. "I'm focusing on my career. No dating plans right now." She handed me the ticket anyway. "Watching it isn't up to you. If you ever plan to date, let me get in the line." I laughed at how honest she was, but then I looked up, seeing Emily approaching with Tom by her side. I rubbed my forehead. Here we go again. Half an hour later, we were sitting in a cafe. Tom, with his little chin raised, said, "Dad, I don't want you to date that person." I rested my chin on my hand, smiling. "You're not even grown yet, and you act like a mini-boss. You live in a big house on the hill, not by the sea. Don't worry about this too much." Tom clenched his little fists. "Dad, you've changed. I don't like how cold you are to me and Mom." I took a sip of coffee. "Really? I kind of like who I am now." Accidentally, he knocked over his juice, spilling it on his white shirt. Emily frowned slightly. "Go to the washroom and clean up." When Tom left, I dropped the thin mask I was wearing, frowning at Emily. "Didn't I say not to come find me?" She ignored the question. "Was that person trying to go after you?" I laughed out of frustration. "Emily, we're divorced now. Who I'm with and what I do is my business." "Alex, can we go back to how it was?" "Emily, Tom wants you home. She's 7, she can't grow up without her dad. Maybe you could be a little softer for the kid? I can change all the things you used to dislike." I felt it. This was the most sincere Emily could be about trying to fix things between us. For someone who had everything, she probably had never had to beg before. "Emily, it's over. We can't go back," I said. "That little bit of regret I had about you, really. It doesn't have anything to do with me anymore." Emily was starting to feel like she was losing control. Even after being rejected so many times, she just couldn't let go. Alex was gentle and kind, and she hoped that if she just held on long enough, he would eventually change his mind. In the past, her guilt over Mike had kept her from opening up to anyone else. But 10 years had passed, and she knew it was time to move on. The day she finally burned Mike's photos, Daniel unexpectedly showed up at her door. "Emily, as a favor between cousins, can you help me one last time?" Daniel was Mike's cousin, and last time he had used Mike's name for a live stream to get attention. Emily stared at Daniel intensely for a while. "What is it?" "Emily, my movie's coming out next month, but another film is coming out at the same time, and it will steal my spotlight. Can you help push back their release a few months?" Daniel knew Emily had the power to make it happen. That was the power of money, right? But what Emily didn't know was how much she would regret this choice in the future. She called her assistant and told her to do this questionable task. Her assistant hesitated. "Emily, the main actor in that movie is Alex. Are you sure about this?" Emily paused for a moment. "It's just a delay of a few months, not a cancellation. I'll make up for it by promoting his movie more later. Just do it like Daniel asked." After the filming was finished, a rough version was ready. The crew watched it, and everyone was thrilled. The director was especially excited, saying this group of actors was amazing, and this film was going to be a big success. The oldest member, Mrs. Hayes, who played my grandma, was particularly excited. She was 93, and despite having a career in TV, this was her first and last film. "If I can see it on the big screen, I'll die happy," she said with a smile. I told her gently, "Just 2 more months. It will happen soon." But life is unpredictable. The film was unexpectedly ordered to make changes, and its release was put off indefinitely. The happiness disappeared under a cloud of disappointment. Mrs. Hayes was old, and suddenly getting sick at her age was common. She lay in the hospital, tears in her eyes, wishing she could see the film before she passed away. My words of comfort felt stuck in my throat, impossible to say. She died before it ever came out. I sat on a bench outside the funeral home for a long time, thinking. I remembered my best friend Chris, who had lost his hair when he was dying. His family and I tried hard to hide his condition from him. He raised his weak arm and said, half-jokingly, "How can I be a handsome actor looking like this?" I felt a lump in my throat and said, "You'll get better. You'll win awards, and I'll be there cheering." But Chris held my hand tightly. "If I'm not around, stay away from high places, okay? Life will offer hope. You can't give up on the world or yourself because of your family." He knew everything, despite our efforts. "Alex, I'm not going to make it, but if you enjoy acting, please make that dream come true for both of us, okay? You're a man who keeps his promises, Alex." Chris was afraid I would try to end my life again because of my family. He must have thought that once he was gone, no one would be there to stop me from giving up. He wanted me to live, so I did. His dreams became my dreams. But weren't his regrets the same as Mrs. Hayes's? In my childhood, I was powerless to change Chris's fate. Now, once again, I couldn't fulfill Mrs. Hayes's last wish. I felt deeply helpless. That's when the director told me the truth. The film's delay was because of Emily's influence. Anger burned through me like fire. Without her getting involved, Mrs. Hayes's wish could have been granted. I was certain I would win an award and fulfill Chris's wish. I went to see Emily for the first time since our divorce. She looked surprised, a little happy. I used all my strength and slapped her so hard my hand stung. Emily's face became hard. "Alex, that was too much. You can't just treat me badly because I like you." I laughed bitterly. "Emily, this is how you show your love? By stopping the movie I worked so hard on for Daniel? You ruined someone else's dreams for your own selfish reasons." "Alex, he's Mike's cousin. I just wanted to ease my guilt." I had put together her past with Mike from different people. Though I didn't know him personally, I felt sad for a young life lost because of a relationship. "Emily, if you were so devoted, you should have died with Mike. Why bring others down with your guilt?" Emily's fingers trembled slightly. Her face had never looked more messy. Her voice was rough. "Alex, I wanted to start over with you. You might not believe it, but I realize now that I do love you." Standing in the doorway, I gave a cold, mocking smile. "Maybe, Emily, but I've started to hate you." From the moment Alex said he hated her, Emily knew there was no hope for them. She couldn't face Alex anymore, so she secretly followed his life online like a shadow. Her insomnia got worse. Her doctor said it was all in her head, but her heart felt like it had no cure. Now, 5 months later, the movie starring Alex finally came out. Its high quality and excellent acting led to both good reviews and financial success. When Alex stood on stage accepting his award for Best Actor, Emily and her son Tom were in the audience. "Mom, Dad looks amazing, like he's glowing," Tom said. "He's amazing. He achieved his dream." Emily nodded, then whispered, "And I lost him." That year, on a street in G City, Alex had disappeared after a phone call. But when she turned around, there he was, holding out 2 ice creams with a playful smile. "Have some? It's sweet. I won't disappear. I'll stick with you." The moment she turned around, after the award ceremony, Alex was already standing in the spotlight, but there was a huge gap between them that couldn't be crossed. After the award ceremony, she asked the driver to take Tom home first. She drove alone on the highway that went in a loop, trying to get rid of the frustration that wouldn't go away. The radio happened to be playing gossip about Alex being the newly crowned Best Actor. "Alex, I heard you're ready for a new relationship. Is that true?" His voice was clear and confident. "Life goes on. If you meet the right person, why not give it a try?" As the host congratulated him, Emily sped up. Unknown dangers were ahead like a beast. A part of the overpass collapsed. If Emily had slowed down, if she had hit the brakes, there might have been a chance, but she did nothing. At that moment, she strangely gave up on doing anything. Alex was right. When Mike died, she should have died with him. She never valued what she had. She tried to make up for her guilt over Mike's death with Alex. What could possibly make up for the regret of losing Alex? As the car fell down the hill, she wished she could ask him, "Alex, if I die, will you miss me like you miss Chris?" But she knew he wouldn't. She wasn't good enough. When the host announced my name, I almost went deaf for a second. The director and my co-actor smiled and urged me forward. Standing on the stage, holding that clear crystal trophy, I truly felt I had made it. The world is big, and only hard work truly pays off over time. Chris, I did it. I got the Best Actor award. Did you see it? I didn't lie to you. I achieved our dream. In that moment, I seemed to see Chris sitting in the audience, clapping with his wide, toothy grin. Tears filled my eyes. In my younger years, I insisted my parents love me equally, wanting them to love me the way they loved my brother. It was a sadness I couldn't get rid of. After marriage, I looked for the same equal affection from my wife and child, but never got it. Now I understand. Loving yourself is what makes you brave, because the deepest confidence comes from a full heart. The award ceremony ended, and I got a call from a number I didn't know. It was my mom. Her voice sounded old and tired. "Alex, I'm sick. I've been sick for a long time, didn't want to bother you, but could you come see your mom?" "No," I said. "Let your other son see you. She's always had the benefits of being your favorite, so now it's her turn for the responsibilities." I hung up and blocked the number. Cutting ties with a harmful family that didn't show love seemed necessary. I thought after winning a big award, I would sleep in the next day, but an early call woke me up. My assistant said, "Emily drove off the mountain last night. She didn't make it. The Millers are looking for you. Probably want to invite you to the funeral?" I was shocked for a few seconds. "Just say no," I told him. "There's no rule that an ex-husband has to go to his ex-wife's funeral. I didn't really want to see her when she was alive." Now she was gone. There was even less reason. She was just a part of my past, meant to fade away into dust. The sunlight gently came into the room. I opened the curtains and saw the lotus flowers in the community pond blooming, their petals layered and full. And the lily pads were spread out, bright green, looking alive and healthy.